All right, this is what's about Cryptid Talk and the Supernatural with Chris Henry. I got my friend NaKeisha on the phone.
Hello.
I'm just testing. Well, I'm not testing out. I just started this Cryptid channel, and she's gonna tell you guys. We're gonna talk about what she experienced as a kid and what I experienced as well. Not too long ago. So, uh, do you want to start off to where you from and what your experience was when you was growing up in Michigan?
Okay. My lights are flickering. That storm 2 days ago, and power is they restoring power everywhere. So you might see it, you know, see it
That's
does
fine.
that. Okay. But okay. Well, okay. Yeah, that's light. Cut that
Okay.
down some right there. But I'm from I live in Detroit, Michigan, but I'm from everywhere. I was raised Inkster, Dearborn, Taylor, a little bit around Michigan. Um, had a whole household, mother, father, and two siblings. And this one incident that I want to tell you about happened to me when I was maybe the age between 10 to 14, because I really don't remember how old I was. The only thing that I remember is that I was in Milan, Michigan, living with my aunt for a semester of school. Not by choice, but okay, that's neither here or there. And in the country, the house is set way back off the road. And I mean, way back. We had a long driveway. Our front yard was fenced off. It's a front yard that could fit two houses in it, like two full houses in it. So I'm just
Mm,
giving you an idea of how far back the house is. Your neighbors are a mile and a half away from you. So when you see the house looks about this big.
okay.
So that's the space. Um, where they burn garbage is acres back. Like it's nothing but land. And then to the right is nothing but forest. And I
Mm,
mean a lot of forest. And it goes as far as the eyes can see. Across the dirt road from where we were living, it's the scene from, if you ever see, because I don't look at scary movies anymore, but if you ever seen the movie Children of the Corn, it looked just like that. To
mm,
the left, to the right, all you see is fields and acres of corn, and right behind the corn are tall pine trees. I
mm-hmm.
mean, as far as you can see. There's no street, there's all this out there. This one particular day, my cousins was in the house. I didn't feel like being bothered, so I went outside to play by myself. I see my aunt's husband way out in the yonder, burning the garbage or whatever. It's nothing different, nothing new. So I go across the driveway, and there's nothing bland. I'm sitting there in the grass, playing with the grass, just sitting. I'm a kid. I'm actually playing. And, in the country, you hear sounds. In the country, you hear the crickets, the birds, um, different kind of birds with different sounds. You hear the frogs. You hear it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking down and playing, and I mean, suddenly there was no sound,
Mm-hmm.
nothing, no birds, no frogs. There was nothing. The only thing that heard was a little bit of breeze from the wind from the trees that creeped me out. I went from it almost felt like I lost my hearing because that's how quiet it was. It was an
Mm,
eerie, scary feeling, and then I had this feeling come over me like something was about to happen to me. I was literally scared to move.
right.
And for whatever reason, I turned to the left and I looked. Again, ain't nothing but forest. So if you can imagine, You know, you got forests, you got trees. But if you close enough, you can see the bottom, the tree trunks.
Mm-hmm.
You can see all that. And you can look through the
Mm-hmm.
forest if you're close enough. And whatever reason I looked, and this one spot, this one area I'm looking at, I don't know why I'm looking at it, but I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at that, but then I'm looking at the other tree trunks. So I'm looking right almost at the dirt, but you know it's grass, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still a tree trunk. For whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason, that didn't look right. And then I'm staring. So I felt like whatever was looking at me, I was looking at it.
Right.
And it noticed that I was not looking at it. And it moved a little, and I heard I like it stepped on a branch or something.
Mm-hmm.
And when it, you know how you see and you hear, if it's eerie quiet, you hear something, you do that. You just, so when I'm looking at it, I heard the cricket, and I looked. When I tell you, whew, I was scared. It scared me. What I saw was, it was the, I can't, there's no ankle. Okay, there's no ankle. It looked like a tree trunk, but it wasn't fur, but it was light fur, and it looked
Like moss, like grassy.
yeah, it looked like wet. Okay, so moss is green and slimy, but this looked like algae. So
Okay.
you know how a sloth look, and the sloth
Mm-hmm.
get that green. It looked just like that, but it was a dark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but when it noticed that I was not up looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you it took off running, the one step that it took, it would have took me at least four of those steps to his
Mm-hmm.
one. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm staring at it, and you could see it moving through the forest because it's right at the edge. I mean, it was moving to the point where it wasn't like I was looking like, no, it was like, I mean, and I
It zo-
and it, when it got to the edge of the forest, because there's a ditch on each
mm-hmm.
side of the road, there's a ditch. Everybody know you jump over a ditch, especially a kid, because
Mm-hmm.
it's wide.
Right.
This sucker stopped at the edge, and I'm still sitting there because I'm scared,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm turned and I'm looking because I'm like, I want to see exactly what this is that took these steps.
Right.
That Joker stepped out, and when he stepped out, his one step, just it looked like he glided over the road. Because
Mm.
it wasn't like, no, it wasn't like this. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like, because he was running. Just,
Mm-hmm.
he came to the stop, and I stopped, and I'm looking. And when he noticed I still was looking, that's when he stepped out. He stepped out of the forest, stepped over that dang gone ditch in the across the road. And I'm looking, and all I see is, I never saw nothing. When I tell you tall, basketball players are shorter than it. I was a season ticket holder at the Pistons when they was in Auburn Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg Monroe is shorter than that. I've never in my life seen nothing like that in my ever. It
How
had
how
digits.
how tall would you say Greg Monroe is? Like 6'10", 6'8"?
Yeah, Greg Monroe's up there.
Mm-hmm.
He was. You know what? That I want to say he's a Chinese or Japanese basketball player, the
Mm-hmm.
tallest player.
Mm-hmm.
He around that, and there is no waist. I didn't see a L like a bend of an L. It was just that green, moldy, moss, wet looking. Like, so there's a. I wish I knew the names of these dogs. There's a dog that all he got is fur, and he looked like he's matted. That's what it looked like. It was like a greenish brown and a eerie black,
Mm.
like a black hole black, not the color black, but like a black hole, like no void, like I mean void, but it just the brownish green was, and when the sun hit it, it looked like it was the green looked like it was fluorescent, if that makes sense. Like oh my goodness, um, I don't know how to explain it, but
So
it didn't have a profile. You know your profile of your face, the
yeah,
nose stick out and stuff. It didn't have a profile, which made it more creepy. Because as it was running, it was. I wish I could do it. Imagine my shoulders curved over a little, just a little. It
like
was
cousin.
like this. Yeah, it was like this. And then when it turned, that's how I knew it didn't have a profile. Because when it went across that road, it turned and looked at me.
Mm-hmm.
Its eyes were, it was so, all of them was black, like, but at the same time, so the white part of my eyes was black. It
Mm-hmm.
was, it was a kind of black that, okay, let me explain.
Like he was
When
possessed
I was
black.
younger, when we was in school, they tell you go to a trip to the zoo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I remember when they talked about the wolf. If you look into a wolf eyes, you're stuck because there's something about a wolf eyes that mesmerizes you. And the wolf is going to stare at you because the pack is getting place to surround you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just staring and you can't move. That's how his eyes were. The white part of my eyes would be black. The brown part of my eyes was like a brownish, reddish. It was mixed
Mm-hmm.
like a brown. Like, you know how people with hazel eyes get greenish, brown, and all that? That's how his eyes were. But the white part of my eyes was black, and the brown part of his eyes was like a greenish, reddish
Mm.
color.
Right. That's the outside.
He, the
The
outside,
outside is that.
everything got hurt, but the face was like, I'm trying to shape it. See how my fingers are shaped? That's how the face was.
Okay.
That's exactly the shape of the face because everything outside of my hand is that brownish, greenish hair stuff. It looked thick. It didn't look tangled up, but it was just locked.
Right.
Like I remember seeing the hair over his hand, but his hand and his toward his feet. Let me back up. I don't even know if you can see that. I don't know. I mean, because when he ran in the cornfield, you could see the corn move because it's so freaking scary. It looked like a bullet going through the cornfield because you see the corn just falling, coming back up. You know what I mean?
It didn't look natural.
It didn't look natural. It was,
Yeah.
and I mean, I stared at it all the way until I didn't see nothing else move because he had to enter the forest, the pasture behind the cornfield. He
Mm-hmm.
had to, had to. When I didn't see no more, I got up screaming. I ran in the house. Mom said, Kiki, what are you doing? I didn't care what she said. I grabbed my auntie and she was like, let's go, what we to? We ran. Her husband saw us running, so he ran with us. My cousins ran outside, so we kids, they trying to see what's going on. I wanted to see the footprint. I wanted to see. We didn't have that many cars because it really is the dirt country,
Right.
like barns and stuff country.
Mm-hmm.
And I dragged her, and she was like, what? And I was like, stop. And I yelled, everybody, stop. I said, look. And we saw that footprint. See, we were kids. I never heard or saw Bigfoot or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There was no cameras back then, no phones.
Right.
We got pagers yet. Like, nothing. The cameras
Mm-hmm.
that they had was the long camera you had to put the flash in on top.
Right.
But we in the country, we ain't got no camera. But I showed my cousin. My auntie and her husband, she was like, "What is that?" I said, and I told her what I seen, and I did not realize that I was sweating. I did
Mm.
not realize I was shaking.
Right.
I did not realize my mouth was dry. I didn't know none of it. My auntie husband was like, get her in the house, she in shock. I don't know what shock is.
Hmm.
I am a but I do know what I saw. I know what I saw without doubt. And this
Was
is
it? Did
in
it
my
have a? Huh?
I said this is in my Michigan.
Did it have a? Was it? Could you tell the physical attributes like the? Did it have like arms, like big arms, big shoulders? What you?
The shoulders, it wasn't like see how my head and then my neck. It
Hmm.
wasn't like that. It was like if I put a bucket over my head
Hmm.
and it's just a bucket and then you saw a little go in, but it's fur, it's just that hair.
Hmm.
But them shoulders was, oh my God. I mean, just like this.
He was built.
It was
She was
like
built.
this.
Yeah.
And the arms just hung. There was no, physical being like you see the being. His arms look like tree trunks. His arms look like, if I hang you up by accident, it's my accident. His arms look, um, like thick branches that fell off a tree. Just,
Hmm.
but they were oddly long. Like his hands looked like they were. He was so tall. His hands looked like they were down by his knees. That's how long, long his arms were.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
his torso. Oh my! His torso was just wide, furry, and thick. I don't know how to just. It was. I wish I was an artist because I can see it vividly. I can see it. It
Can you?
has
Can.
5 toes. It has the space up under the toes. We seen it in the dirt.
Mm.
It's flat footed.
Right.
We seen it in the dirt. And I mean flat footed to like this part is supposed to go in. But it was so flat footed that it looked like that. Like it came out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How long you say the footprint?
And it stunk. It smelled and that was crazy because when everything stopped, the birds and stuff, it was a smell like now keep in mind I told you my auntie's husband was already burning trash. We never smelled it because he acres back. But this smell, and I know it's swamp in the out, in the little forest. This smell stunk to the point where it was like, oh my, what the hell is that? Go it like you in the rain by accident. You trying to get home and you in the rain and your feet wet.
Hmm.
You get home from a long day with wet shoes. Take those shoes off. Add that smell plus a musty, skunky smell. Like it stunk so bad. And the further it got away, the smell was fading.
Mm.
Oh, it was, and everything matched though. It had fur on the feet, but you could tell the fur wasn't growing out of the foot. The fur came from the leg, but it was so long, it was like laying on the foot. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But you could see the toes.
You still see?
You
Okay.
could see the
Okay.
toes,
Right.
and it was like like gorillas, the
Hmm.
color, the leathery looking.
Yeah.
That's how the hands and the feet and the face look. That leathery, dark, like the nails were even dark. Like everything was dark. Like, but you saw the fingers, even though it had fur on it. Like you got a long sleeve shirt and the shirt may be a little too long. That's how the fur was over the hand.
Mm.
That's
It just
fur
hung
with a
over it.
land.
It hung over his hand,
Yeah,
over his knuckles almost.
yeah,
Almost.
yeah. And it
Okay.
got ears. It got ears.
Hmm.
You can visibly see the ears. There is no fur in the ears. Like I had a real vivid experience.
How was his nose? Oh, his
It
nose.
was
How
like
was it?
trying to figure out.
Was it flat? Was it wide?
It was okay. So it was wide, but it wasn't like when it looked at me. The nose didn't look flat. It looked it looked wide. It looked wide,
Hmm.
and I don't know the animal and protrude if that makes sense. Like okay, I don't know. Like okay, so if you move this part of my nose, that part right there, you could see in the nose, but it was black. Like you could see in it. But that's what was so weird. His nose is big, but when he turned to the side, you didn't see it. Do that make sense?
Hmm.
That's because that bothered me for years. Like I was
You
having
didn't
nightmares
see
like for years.
when he turned like that. You didn't see his nose.
When he turned sideways, you didn't see a profile. You did
Mm.
not see a profile. There
That's
was
weird.
no profile. He had a
Wow.
like from the side. He didn't look skinny. It wasn't. He was big. He was big.
Hmm.
But it was like a big stomach. Everything matched. Like if I put a moo on, you don't see no shape or nothing. You just see the moo. That's how the fur was. That's how he was. With tree stump arms, hands down to the knees.
How
He
much you
just
think he
moved.
weighed? How much you think he weighed?
Oh my
Just by
God.
looking at it.
I don't know. Because it was so tall. You know, the taller you are, the thinner you look.
Yeah.
Or no, the taller you are, people don't like. I'm 5'10".
Hmm.
When I was sick in an accident, I was 355 pounds. The doctors didn't know until I got on the scale because of my height,
Hmm.
because it spread.
Hmm.
But if I was short, you would see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
This Joker was,
Was he massive? Or he was just like a slender guy.
yes, it was massive. Like, honest to God, I'm not exaggerating, but he looked like he was at least 10 feet, 12 feet. I never saw nothing like that in my life. He looked like if he put his hand up, he would touch the clouds. He was huge.
Wow.
When I tell
How
you I
much you
was
think he
scared,
weighed? Huh? How
uh,
much you would say you put a like to be that tall, and what you seen, what you think he may weigh? 5, 6.
900, 800. He's tall and big.
Woo.
He's not he's tall and big.
Mm.
And it wasn't like I've never seen nothing like it.
Hmm.
I mean to the point where he looked like he could have just picked me up and put me in his pocket. He,
And did what now?
he,
Say it again, Keisha.
he looked like he could pick me up and put me in his pocket.
Hmm.
He was huge. I
Wow.
mean, not like you just look up, but you got to look up. Like, because
Right.
when I'm sitting on the ground and I'm looking at this,
Uh,
and his legs are wide. His legs was about wide as the tree trunk. That's why I was
wow.
staring because I'm like something is off, and I'm just
Wow.
staring.
Right.
And there's tree trunks. It's a forest. Just imagine a forest. I mean that little bitty tree, that starter tree.
He
I
blended. He
mean,
blended. He blended. He blended in with the forest. This is how big his
yes,
structure.
he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. That brownish, greenish, darkish, all those colors is what he was.
Hmm.
All of those colors is what he was. And all of the animals are scared of him because when I say they mute, they stopped. You didn't hear no like nothing moving. It just stopped cold turkey. No frogs, no crickets, no um, no snakes, no birds, squirrels. There was nothing,
Wow.
nothing. I can't even tell you when it started back because when it got on my sight, like I said, I ran. I ran.
Keep talking, Keisha. Hold on. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Mhm. I ran in the house. And I'm sitting in the middle of land. The land I'm sitting on, you could put three houses on this land. Three houses, behind each other. I'm sitting in the middle. Like I said, I didn't want to be bothered with my cousins. I'm just sitting there. I'm a kid playing in the grass. I have my little toy, everything. Because I'm a city kid. I ain't never had a chance to sit in the grass. But
Hmm.
I'm also a country kid because my dad and my mom from the country. So I
Right.
enjoy sitting in the cool grass. So when I took off running, I had to actually run. It wasn't like get up and run in the house. I had to run. I'm in the middle of an acre.
Right.
And I hauled tail when I tell you, because it ran so fast, I was scared that it was gonna come and get me. That the his one step is the equivalent of my 3 to 4 steps. His one step. So in my mind, as a child, I'm thinking, okay, I saw him. I'm in the country. This is a horror movie. The black kid always die first.
Hmm. Hmm.
I hauled tail. I hauled tail. Because I figured you can't kill all of us because I'm
Right.
going to be the one to run. I'm going to be the one to run.
What do you think for something that big? What do you think this thing's strength consists of? If he were
Okay.
to,
Let me tell you
if he get
something.
a
This
hold to a
thing's so
deer,
big. He looked like he could lift a car. He looked like he could tear a door off a car, any truck. It's so big. It looked like if an 18 wheeler came and hit it, it'd be like a deer. So like when you hit a deer, it might be knock it off a little bit, but it still get up.
hmm,
It still get up. It looked like it will put a nice body dent into a truck.
mm,
Like it is tall. You think of an 18 wheeler, step in front of an 18 wheeler and see if you can look over it.
right,
That sucker can look over it. He can
mm,
look over it. And from that day,
hmm,
I started looking up Bigfoots and I put in Google what I saw. I was asking people, even um, when the neighbor came down to us, I was telling them about it. They was looking at me like the look that they. Keep in mind, I am a child, a kid. Okay, I'm a kid, and the way that they looking at me, they was looking at me like they knew. But it's like an unspoken thing you don't talk about. That's how they was looking at me.
who was they?
The neighbors,
Okay.
the neighbors.
Now tell people, how did you don't live there, so you used to go spend time at your aunt house in the summertime. Tell like this. Go back to that.
Okay, so this is during when my family moved from the west side of Detroit to the east side,
Hmm.
and I really do like the country. And I
Right.
always want to go and spend a night over my auntie house in Milan, Michigan,
Hmm.
because it's a different scenery, you know. Um, here in Detroit, yeah, if I had trust, this, that, and the other, I love the sound of crickets. And my auntie had this big old picture window in our house set way back. So I was like, I want to go out there. And I'm the oldest. I pretty much got what I wanted,
Hmm.
through my grandma. And I was like, I want to go to school out here. And then my auntie was like, well, okay. And the school is called Milan Middle School. Y'all can look that up. Milan Middle School.
Milan. Okay.
Predominantly all white. It was
Hmm.
only me and one other black person in the classroom.
Hmm.
Um, I think I saw a grand total of four other black kids.
Okay.
That was it. So I went out there to Milan, Michigan. I was in school only one semester. Only one semester. And it was almost after that semester it was summer break. That's what it was. Summer break. So I'm still at my auntie house. I ain't got that much schooling left. And it's like a couple of weeks left of school. So, teachers
Hmm.
ain't really giving homework, they call it free time. And like I said, this one day I just didn't want to be bothered. Like I'm a loner. I don't want to be bothered. I went outside to sit in the grass. I just wanted to sit in the grass alone. I learned my lesson about sitting in the grass alone.
So look, you said that the neighbors, when you told them the story, they kind of gave you a look like they knew.
Yes,
How many?
yes.
I mean, how many neighbors? Like what? The next, like a few
It
neighbors or what?
was it was two guys and three ladies.
Okay.
So I'm telling them what I saw because my auntie's like, tell them what you saw. She looking at me like, dismissive.
Yeah.
And I'm telling them, and they looking at each other like, and then the lady like, you started, and they bent down was like, you started where? And I turned around, and I pointed, I said, I saw it over there.
Hmm.
I said, grass over there. I said, I think my toy's still up there because I'm not going, am I ever going over there? And then the guy was like, one of the guys was like, he did just like this.
Hmm.
Did it smell? Did you smell something? Did it smell? Did you
Hmm.
smell something? And then the other guy elbowed him. Like he just kept his eyes on him. Smell. And I looked at him. I said, yes, it stunk really bad. Like it filled the air. It
Hmm.
smelled really bad.
Right.
Like it stank. It smelled worse than a skunk. It just stank.
So what did he say when
And
he
he was
asked you
like,
that? Like what would he like?
he didn't say nothing. It was his facial expression though. It was like
He saw it too, almost.
all of them had to, cause their body language, cause they were like,
Demeanor.
hey, how you doing? How you doing? Hey. Martha's like, can you tell them what you saw? And they like, and I started telling them, and they was like, and like I said, that one man was like, did it have a smell? He got elbowed by the one guy. He never looked at the guy. Kept staring at him like, did it have a smell? When I told him it stank, he was like, they looked at each other. The one that asked me, did it have a smell? He was like, I'll be right back. He never came back, but he said, I'll be right back.
Mm.
Because you can't walk next door. It's a mile and a half away. It is
Right.
summertime in the country. It is 84 degrees and it's humid. It's hot. You ain't walking nowhere.
So where you
You
think
ain't
he
walking
went?
nowhere.
Where you think he
I don't
went?
know, but he never came back. He never came back. He never came back. My auntie's husband had to take the ones that was there home later on. They was my auntie was
Mm-hmm.
having some kind of gathering barbecue or something. Like the table and stuff was outside, but I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that
Right.
smell. I've never smelled that smell anymore yet. There's not a smell think worse.
Mm.
I would never forget that. And I
Wow.
tried to. My auntie don't remember her address to the house
She don't remember it?
because I tried to do. She don't remember the address to the house.
Mm.
I never knew the address. I was a kid. I wasn't trying to think about no addresses.
But what town you
I knew
was in?
my address in Detroit. I didn't know the address in Milan.
It was it? What was it? The town?
Milan, Michigan.
And where is that?
Milan, Milan.
Milan?
Mhm.
Is that like northeast Michigan? Is that like
That's
west
north of Michigan. Yes, it's north of Michigan.
going towards Canada? I mean, that's
Yes,
north of Detroit.
it's yes, because we down at the bottom of the glove.
Hmm.
Milan is all the way up here somewhere. It's up there.
Okay. Wow. Well, hold on one second, okay?
Mhm.
But keep talking. Keep talking. I'm trying to look on the map. You say MI because we have a Milan Road.
Milan, I believe. Milan, Milan,
Milan,
Milan, Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. There's a prison. Okay, hold on a second. You don't know anything about it. What county is Milan,
Maybe if you
Michigan?
look up Milan Middle School, because we had to catch
Milan.
the cheese bus to school.
Uh-huh.
So there any even in that was it. I didn't have no more work to do at school. I didn't even go back to school. I already passed, but I was so scared because when you go to school, it's dark outside. We had to walk up a long freaking driveway
Right.
and stand by the mailbox and wait for the bus. I didn't go. No, not me. No, no. I wasn't going back because I was not standing at that bus stop. No,
Oh wow. I'm looking at it now. Oh, it says south of Detroit though.
it's not stopping Detroit. It's up
I'm
north.
looking at Milan Middle School. It says south of Detroit.
Milan Middle School in Milan, Michigan.
Uh, yeah, yeah. It said it's like Interstate 23
I don't know. And
is
I'm
south
hoping
of
I
like
see my
going
other
towards
channel. I'm
like.
hoping they change the name of the school. That's what I'm
Hmm.
hoping.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you.
Because I know
Yeah.
here, my kids' old school Bunch or Duffield, they
Hmm.
changed it to Bunch
Right.
and closed the original Bunch down.
Okay.
I
Okay.
haven't I haven't been out there since then.
Hmm.
I called my grandmother that day and told her to get me. It took her 2 days because my grandma's car was down, but it took her 2 days to come get me. I was not. I stayed upstairs. There is no
You was
basement.
ready to go.
I was ready to go. My stuff was packed, and I was my bed was right by the window, and my feet I could look out because I was scared it was coming to get me because I seen it.
Right.
I was petrified. I was scared until we got on a highway. I want to say it's I-94, and we got on the freeway, and I didn't see no more forest. That's when I calmed down, and that's when I told my grandma because I was so scared. I was scared to tell my grandma because I was feeling like if I told my grandma it was gonna kill her. I was scared for my life. I was scared. I was a kid. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I tell my story later, but because I want to talk to you about yours. But as a child, when you see uh when you see these things like you saw them, it as an adult, I'm sure you'd be afraid. You know what I mean? Because I saw some stuff, I heard stuff, even the voices I heard down here in Georgia, the yells. I heard the Ohio scream in Georgia. They called it Ohio scream, and it was like down the street. The second time I heard it, but the first time I heard it, it was uh, I had an interview with Wes Sasquatch Chronicles. You talked to did you talk to Wes or somebody? You had an interview with
Mhm.
somebody, but
Yeah. What?
you, okay, Wes, okay, but a couple months after I talked to Wes, I heard that Ohio. I told him an old story. I mean, my cousin Perez, but um, I could tell that story later. But after that, it was 2014 of September. I heard this Ohio this howl, and later come to find out it was like the Ohio howl. It's like Tarzan. It ain't cut loose, man. It just kept cutting loose. My cousin heard it, and then in November 2014, I heard it again close to my house, and it was just cutting loose, man. It was no dog, or no coyote, no wolf. This thing sounded like
Mhm.
it sounded like Tarzan. It just was cutting loose, and it just wouldn't let up from shit. It just it's like oh, it just kept going, going, going. And I haven't now. A couple of my neighbors they heard something in these woods. Uh, Now I did hear something across the street a while back as I worked out, and it sounded like it was the guy across the street from my house. Behind his house, he fixed his house up and he bulldozed. He cleaned that. He just leveled the whole backyard of his house because it was like a bunch of trees and bushes back there. But it's cleaned out.
Mhm.
But as I'm working out doing jump ropes, there's bushes that block the view of the rest of his backyard. You can see there's a part of his backyard you can see without the bushes in that parking lot
Mhm.
across the street from my house. But there's a section that
Mhm.
the bushes cover. If you're looking towards the bush, you can't see the other side, the rest of the back of his yard. But I heard something do this
Oh,
right here. It was like, oh, and it stopped. Um,
so it's
like
crazy.
it was off, huh?
You making these sounds, and I did. Okay, so again, I'm a kid. I'm in Miami, Michigan. I've
Mm,
heard you hear stuff in the country. Like they got different animals in the city,
mm,
and it's a sound you don't know what it is, but you know it ain't. It shouldn't be,
mm-hmm.
and it's but- like a sound.
Clicking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's what I heard. But
Mm,
it was more. Can you hear this?
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you heard it, throughout the day sometimes, at night sometimes. But we in the country, we barefoot kids playing in
Yeah.
dirt, making mud pies. You hear all this stuff, and like we're used to hearing animals. When you hear certain things, it makes you stop.
Right.
It makes you stop. Now this forest
Right.
ain't just right next to my auntie house. This forest goes all the way back acres, acres, and you hear this clicking, and you know it's not regular because it's
Mm,
suddenly, like,
right.
and we would stop like we used to joke around like, when that Bigfoot come out the forest, ha, ain't no Bigfoot. Ha. We look down, cause like again, where I say where they burn trash was way, and they make it look like this. That's how far they are. We
Right.
can just stare trying to see if we see something. But we was all in kids. We was fun. But we hear clicking, and then you hear sometimes the branch breaking. And I guess because I'm from the city, I'll be like, to me, I'm like, what is big enough to break a branch out there? Is somebody living out there? Because there's just too much strange stuff. Too much strange stuff. Stuff coming up missing. Um, Stuff being moved. Stuff just ain't right. Branches. It was my auntie's husband. I don't know what it's called, but it cuts the grass. He got to climb up in it, and it's real wide, and he goes down real slow, and it cuts a lot of acre at one time. I don't know what that machine is called. And he used to have us to just walk the field at this big, big stick, like big, big stick, drag them out, put them on the driveway, and he'll drag it out to the trash and burn it. There were two logs. We couldn't live. Where did logs come from? Because there's no trees in the field. They're not by the forest. They're in the field. And it's like, I'm going to show it like this. That's one log, and the other log sitting on top of it like that. We play in the field all day before I saw that. Where the hell these logs come from? I can't hear you again.
I put myself on mute.
Okay, I got you.
And the logs that 'cause I see that sometimes it'd be big logs, and if you're out in the woods or you pass by an area, it will be logs laid across a driveway of an abandoned house or the woods, it's a structure. It's laid out a certain way, right?
Yeah, that's how it was. It wasn't a cross. It wasn't a cross like that,
Hmm.
but it was like that. Not a
Okay.
full X, but it was like a big log and then another big log like that.
Okay. So look, check it out. Um, did it sound like this? This is what I heard. This is what it's something similar to this. Let me know if you heard it. You can hear this. Hold on. Hold on. You hear that?
Hold on, do it again. I don't hear nothing.
You can hear it?
Okay, you just came back in. Do it again.
It ain't did it yet. Hold on. See. Let me know you hear this. Hold on. Can you hear that?
I
You heard
didn't
it?
hear anything. No.
You can hear anything? Let me share my screen. Hold on one second. I'm gonna share my screen, okay? Okay? One second.
Mhm.
Share my screen.
Okay.
All right. Entire screen share. All right, here we go. Ready?
Mhm.
All right. Let me know you can hear it. You hear
You gotta
something?
push play. No, you didn't push play.
Did it? I did. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's not coming through my ear. Yeah. Yes, I got a hold of my mouth. It's that, and it's that with, and it's random clicks. You know what I mean? Like, and that, but it's like it's almost
Huh?
like it's talking.
It's talking.
Yeah, it makes that sound do the click,
Mm-hmm.
and the clicks are random.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've heard of a marking bird.
Yeah.
If you go, it goes. If you say it goes like it mocks you. So
Right.
it makes that sound and then it goes pause and then it do it again. Pause. Like it and it think about it. Country throughout the day. We
Right.
were kids. We weren't the kids like these kids today. We were actually kids. We didn't care about getting dirty. We didn't care about matching. We are in the country. We were country kids. We know what we heard, but I'm the only one that seen that. But my
Right.
cousins, all of us heard different sounds,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of times we would get scared and go in the house because it sounded like it was getting closer. Like,
So you spent the summer there.
yes,
You spent how many times you see this? What you saw? How many times you seen it?
I've seen it once, and I don't know how many times I heard it. I physically seen the entire thing one time, but I heard it all through the summer, all through the
Okay.
summer, and it always was eerie. We always slept with the window up.
Okay.
We always slept with the window up, and my auntie always had one of them bug zappers
Mm-hmm.
for mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the head of my bed was right by the window.
Okay.
The head of my bed was right by the window, and you could hear the crickets at night and everything. I was at peace when I heard the crickets. When they just stopped and it was dead silent, it's like the window sill, and I would be like,
Oh wow.
because I was scared it could see me.
Okay.
And it'd be like after 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, you hear the rest of the animals just start back just like that.
Oh wow.
Sometimes you hear something walking in the forest, and you know what stuff sound like when you step on it and old leaves and I would just be staring because I don't know where it's coming from. It's a whole forest. I don't know where it's coming from. All I know is it's in the facility.
Right. Right. Right.
It's
Do you realize? Hold on, what you was afraid to go out, right? You was too afraid um to go out at night, especially.
yes, at night
Mm-hmm.
and well, I would go. We had the house had a gate around it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like the porch was a closed in porch.
Okay.
So you know I love the night. I go sit on the closed in porch. I would have
Mm-hmm.
a screen lock, and I used to put. My auntie used to get bad, but I did not care. My auntie had a card table, the one you fold up, close
Mm-hmm.
eggs up. Man, I put that joker against that door, and then I would take one of her fold up chairs and wedge it up under the handle so the handle can't go down. And I sleep. I felt safe right there, but outside, no. For
No,
me to go
I
outside,
can
it got to be
imagine.
daylight. It got to be people outside. Like my auntie had to been doing something outside, or my cousin. I was not. I was in the porch until my grandma came. My grandma came. I was like, it ain't time to socialize. It ain't time to talk. My grandma came. I put myself in the car. I got in the car and I in the car with the doors locked. I was ready to go.
It was pitch. I
Mm-mm.
know it was pitch black out there. I know it's
Yeah,
pitch
you
black.
know they don't have street lights. Only thing you
Right.
see is stars, stars and the moon.
Mm. Wow. That's
Stars and the moon.
that's that's hold on a second. Tomorrow, if you have time, we could do my story and look at some videos of it's a YouTube channel I just found. And this guy he have crazy stories from some monsters in Afghanistan,
Hmm.
Bigfoot. and even he got stories about uh, uh, the Russians landed on Mars and they came face to face with some monsters that killed a few
Mm.
Russians. So yeah, and it was he interviewed people from NASA, work for NASA. So he had
Mm.
this YouTube channel is great. Is I just found it and it's good. So I wanted to have you on here tonight because this is my first time doing this. You know what I'm saying? You said change the name to Crypto Talk and the Supernatural with Chris Henry. We can talk about also besides cryptids. It's like I have a story uh, about the house I live in right now. I
Mhm.
sleeping in the bed one night, one morning, I woke up. As I'm waking
Mhm.
up, slowly there was like an alien type being at the foot of my bed that walked into the kitchen, and I was coming up.
Mhm.
I wasn't dreaming. I know I was like, you know how you wake up out of the daze, and
Yeah.
as I'm opening my eyes
Yeah.
like that, get up there, I'm seeing it because I'm coming from the spirit world as I'm dreaming into the physical, and as I'm opening my eyes up, I seen an outline of an alien. Like I mean, I'm seeing this like it happened so fast. As
Yeah.
I'm coming up, he's there, and I'm coming up, he's there, and he walks in the kitchen. He walks in the kitchen, and I'm watching him, and then I'm up, and I just stood there like that damn alien. And before I
Right.
even put
Because
my
you
foot
have
on the
sleep.
floor, huh?
Because you have sleep. Yeah.
Because I'm half asleep, but I know what I saw as he walked in. I'm like, but he was still in the spirit world. But as I'm
Mhm.
dreaming, I mean, as I'm was asleep, as you
Mhm.
sleep, your body go into the spirit world.
Yeah.
So my eye, my physical eye caught this being. So I got to see something in between the physical and the spirit world as I woke up. So as I walked in the kitchen to see what was it in there, I know if it was in there, I would tore this house up, getting the hell out of here. I saw it, but I know I wasn't gonna see it. But I know what I saw, and it's so much supernatural stuff around us. Whether there's angels or different spirits is not good outside of different giants like you saw Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever,
Mhm.
Neanderthals, whatever that's in these woods that we, because right now I'm in the country and it's like pitch black right now, man. Like I mean, we have a street
Yeah.
light,
So
but
you know. Yeah.
yeah, it's when it get night, man. But when I heard that,
It's not.
oh, it was like 11:30 at night. It was like it wasn't late. It was
Yeah.
like
It
11
wasn't
something.
late. It'd be early. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. So it wasn't like it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So um, I have always loved watching old uh, documentaries on Bigfoot, like the old unsolved mysteries, and they may have an episode with Bigfoot back in the late '80s or early '90s. Man, those are the best
Yeah.
shows
Mhm.
to watch stuff like that. Because we never know what's among. It's more than us on this earth.
It is. Even in the Bible, it says world. That's
Mm,
plural.
mm-hmm.
Plural.
There's different worlds amongst worlds, and until like the little alien feature out creature out whatever I saw was by my bed. He's in a world that parallel the world we live in.
Simultaneously. Yes.
Right. I can't see him now, but if I was to fall, your spirit travels and see things that in your sleep. Or people even call it astral projection. They astral project from their body. And I had a preacher tell me this right here. Now,
Mhm.
Pastor Stephen Darby talks about this, but Mr. Evans, I said, have you ever heard of people astral projecting out their body and they spirit and go travel to another
Hmm.
area? He said he knew a lady he knew a lady that knew a guy that knew a guy who used to astral project his spirit to her house while she's laying down, and he would molest her.
Wow.
And
See,
then
that's his
after
spirit.
his
Spirit.
he, I don't know what how it's just like they just
Well,
like
he just released it.
whatever, but he used to call her after the fact. After he get through molesting his spirit, get through molesting her, he would call her and be like, "Do you like that? Do you like that?" He would taunt her. Um, when they astral project, it's a lot of stuff that we don't know that people can do that's not of the Most High. So,
Exactly.
um,
And that's what you're supposed to pray. The Bible says, pray without ceasing. That
hmm
let me clarify that for any ignorant fool. Ignorant. That don't mean you walk around, somebody say hello, hey, the Lord said. That's not what that means.
right.
Pray without ceasing means, like right now, I'm praying right now because I'm thanking God and I'm thanking Him for protecting me and my children's households and keeping us covered. Because spirits do travel.
Yeah,
I don't understand how people are so quick to believe in demons, but they can't believe in it.
hmm
And that makes no sense.
Mm-mm.
Because if there's light and you turn it off, what happens? It becomes dark.
Right.
There's always a competition between the light and the dark. But the
hmm
only reason why so much attention on the dark because people paying it attention. They give it life.
Right.
They're giving it life. That's why you watch what you say, you watch what you look at, you pay attention to everything. Like everything don't come on my TV. You heard me say earlier, I've been stopped looking at scary movies. You don't know what you inviting into your home.
People don't understand that. Now, I'm gonna say this right quick. Um, I started watching scary movies for a long time. Then I watched Get Out, and I watched a few more things my friend told me to watch. She says on Amazon. I watched it. I didn't too much like it, but I had a friend of mine daughter tell me this. A friend of mine daughter told me this. She said, "Chris, today something." I said, "How you doing, Omar?" She said, "I'm doing okay." She said, and we started talking. She said, "Today something strange happened." I said, "What happened?" She said, "It seemed like some stuff was falling in the kitchen and stuff was moving around and nobody was in the kitchen." And she said, "It seemed like it happened when she was playing this video game. She did something on the video game and all of a sudden things start happening in the house. As long as it's like I think Wes had a story, someone had a story of some college kids was playing this board game, a Ouija board, and the next
Mm.
day things started happening in the house because they start arguing with each other, they start fighting with each other. Uh, the
They
guy
invited the
came,
spirit.
they invited the spirit in, so you have to rebuke those spirits. And people might tell us, "Well, you talking about Sasquatch and Bigfoot and stuff like that." You have to rebuke it anyway. It's just you have to know that there's nobody's inviting spirits in. I mean, you have to, even though we're having these conversations,
Mm.
we're not giving that spirit no
We're
power.
not inviting.
We're not
Exactly.
inviting.
We're not giving
Right,
it life.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. So, and it's very intriguing because I remember used to watching The Haunted. I remember watching The Haunted,
Mm.
uh, a celebrity ghost stories on Discovery Channel. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
channel back in 2007, right? I remember
Mm-hmm.
watching that, and my ex worked. She worked in the daytime between 8 and 4. I work at 2:30 and at 11:30. So when
Mm-hmm.
I around 11 o'clock, I watch uh, ghost stories or haunted, whatever. But I noticed when I used to watch that stuff, I used to hear like cracking in the floor and stuff in the floor. I cut it off,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, Is it my mind or what? But you have to be careful on what you watch, how much you invite stuff in, and you know if you are covered with the spirit of the Most High and you protect it, you know certain spirits know who to try. Now you still gonna come across certain things. You got to rebuke it and say a prayer. But when we talk about these things, I mean, to know that there's different worlds or dimensions and vortexes and spirits, good and bad,
Mhm.
beings of this world, and to know that you experience something, and to know that somebody else that you know experienced something like you. um I love talking about things that we have experienced nobody else have.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
Because a lot of people they dismiss it, and there's
mhm,
people that experience stuff, but they feel like ain't nobody gonna listen.
right.
I was always that big mouth kid. I'm telling everybody everything.
Hmm.
I ain't told secrets, but I told what I seen.
Right.
That's for sure. And there may be some people out here that experienced it and felt like they was by themselves. You're
Hmm.
not by yourself. You were not going crazy. You saw what you saw.
Right.
God gave you faith. He blessed you with sight. You saw what you saw. It wasn't in your
Hmm.
mind. So
Right.
in order to make stuff up in your mind, you had to already be thinking about it.
Hmm.
I wasn't thinking about no Bigfoot. I was playing in grass. I literally remember doing this in the grass because it felt soft and cool. Just playing in the grass. A
Right.
little kid playing in the grass. I had one little toy and the grass. I was playing with it with the grass,
Hmm.
and it was just like all of a sudden somebody it's sunny, and all of a sudden somebody put a cloud over you. You all of a sudden that's how I felt. I felt like
Hmm.
something dark was staring at me, but it wasn't evil. But it was just like this scary feeling. Like,
Don't you know there's a pot I cleaned up that my grandmother used to have, and this pot was like it's like this. It's like a big pot. I mean, it's a pot that you can cook soup, and probably the whole street can eat it. It's so
soup
big,
pot. Yeah,
soup
yeah,
pot.
yeah, yeah.
So I had pineapples in the pot, and I had the lid on it, but the
Mhm.
stem of the pineapples was not allowing the lid to close in all the way.
Okay.
So I have experience with stuff, hearing stuff in this house because this house is like 100 years old. So my
Okay.
mom came over, and that lid have never fell on the floor. And I had the pineapples.
Mhm.
It just stayed there, even though it wasn't closing down all the way, and the stems of the pineapple was like still uh, was not allowing it to close down. My mom comes
Mhm.
sit right here at the couch right here. We
Okay.
talking. All of a sudden, that lid said it fell down. Never fell down before. And I believe that was my
Mhm.
grandmother, which is her mother, was just
Hmm.
saying hello. I'm telling you, that lid have never fell down till my mom got
Wow.
here. But
Yeah. I believe it. Yeah.
it could have been my granddad, it was her dad. It could have been her brother, which her brother got murdered in
Hmm.
the '70s, and it could have been him
Wow.
saying, "Hey, how you doing, sis?" It could have been my father saying, "How you doing, Colin?"
Yeah.
Because me and my mom was together, and my mom grew up in this house, and she's 79 years old,
Okay.
and she remember when she
Okay.
was a kid in this house, she can look in the cracks of the floors and see dirt.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
that's a good
yeah,
house.
man,
That's
huh?
a good house. That's a real house.
Yeah, Yeah. So I'm going to say that I
Mm.
enjoyed the conversation me and you had, and on this topic of the show. And I would love for you to come on. Uh, I'm gonna say a lot more, but I'm gonna say a lot more. Uh, I would like you to do it with me if you have
Sure,
time.
sure will.
We
No
don't hear an
problem.
hour, but we don't have to be an hour. It could be like we could talk 35 to 40 minutes. But me to me, you could talk. So, but we could just twice a week,
Okay.
um, talk about stuff,
We
watch
could.
videos of other stuff, and speak on it. And we can probably along the way have guests on here about their
Mm-hmm.
experiences with the supernatural,
Everything. Yeah.
of everything they have experienced with. You know what I'm saying? So, uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, no weapon formed against us shall prosper.
That's
And
right.
in Jesus' name we pray, in the Most High, in Yahweh's name we pray. Uh,
Yeah.
we are all covered by the hand of the Most High. So, what time is it? 11:09. We've been on here like an hour, 1 hour 11 minutes. So let's call it. Let's end this cast and see how it goes. I want you to look over the cast, the video once it's done. I send it to you. So let me know how you like
Okay.
it, and I'm gonna share it too.
All right. No
And then if you got
problem.
something to do, I'm gonna eat something. I know it's late. I know you're gonna, but I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna, but I wanted to get the show out the way, and I did. With you, and this tropical storm is coming up through Georgia. It's a flash flood warning
Yes.
for the next uh, 14 hours, I think, 12 hours. So it's headed this way. It's headed towards really my town, and it's already tearing up stuff right now. So, but we'll talk. I may call you when I end this.
Mm.
Give me about 30 minutes. If I don't call you back tonight, I'll call you back later tomorrow.
Okay.
But I do
Okay.
want us to continue this together so we can just talk. So it can be like crypto talk, um, in the supernatural with Chris, Henry, and NaKeisha, your last name.
Okay.
All right. So,
Sounds good. Fine.
all right, cool. So I'm gonna end it. Thank you guys. This is a new show, so nobody really on, but it's a new. I'm doing StreamYard, uh, but we're gonna I guess have fun with it, and we'll talk later. Thank you, Keisha.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.